Out of the Shadows by Justina Ireland is part of Phase 1, Wave 2 of the High Republic. This book takes place some months after the Rising Storm and Race to Crash Point Tower. Vernestra Rwoh was a hauler aboard the Switchback. She inherited the ship after her mother was killed by Nihil a few months prior. Her ship is pulled out of hyperspace when it shouldn't have been. They couldn't go back in hyperspace because their engine blew. Suddenly, Nihil ambushed them when they are dead in space. Syl and her crewmates are able to get off the ship in an escape pod before being boarded. Syl must warn the Republic that the Nihil are causing problems in the Brenge sector of space. Back on Starlight Beacon, Vernestra has been struggling with her Padawan Imri. Imri is a Jedi empath that reacts strongly to emotions sensed in other people. Her previous master, Stellan, would like Vernestra to return to Coruscant to undertake a mission there. Unfortunately, Vernestra and Imri cannot take their own transportation there since Vernestra has a history of destroying ships. Luckily, Master Vitus Comac and Padawan Reith Silas are already heading to Coruscant and offer Vernestra and Imri a ride. We catch up with Nan, who is on the Gaze Electric. The Nihil have been on the run since their escape from the Jedi on Grizzle. Marchion Rowe gives Lorna D and Nan a mission to work on the Gravity's Heart hyperspace weapon in the Brenge sector. Marchion gives them Maria Santeca, the source of the paths, to take with them to the station. Syl reaches Coruscant but must leave the rest of her crew behind on Port Halep for lack of funds to get everybody there. She spends days trying to convince officials of the Nihil activity in the Brenge sector, but no one pays her any attention. One night she is at a cantina and gets approached by Xylon Graf for an opportunity. The Grafs are a very wealthy family in the galaxy thanks to the hyperspace rush. This happened about 100 years ago and was the Republic's expansion into the Outer Rim. They created several of the hyperspace routes that many ships use and made their money off of placing those hyperspace beacons. They contributed a lot of the funds into creating Starlight Beacon. Xylon promises Syl a new ship and a lot of credits if she goes along with his plan. Xylon wants to claim the Brenge sector of space for the Grafs. It once belonged to the Santecas. Syl is the only survivor for the many ships that got stranded in the Brenge sector, and Xylon is paying her to lie about everything involving the Nihil there. Vernestra experiences a hyperspace dream, a rare occurrence in Jedi, while she is on her way to Coruscant. She dreams of a desert planet and a cube-like object that someone tells her to take. After she comes to, Vernestra, Imri, Reith, and Comac receive a distress beacon from the planet of TK. TK in the last months has seen trouble from Nihil, Drengir, Zagarians, and more. Nihil are attacking the small town there. Reith, Imri, and Vernestra go down to assist as Comac supports them from transport in the sky. Vernestra hitches a ride on a speeder bike by the town's deputy, Jordana Sparkborn. She is part of the Santeca clan. They catch up to the Nihil and take them out, and everything falls into place just as Vernestra's hyperspace dream went. She retrieves the cube object called a puzzle box, which has unknown runes on the side. The Jedi round up the survivors of the town, and some go to Starlight Beacon while others go with them to Coruscant. Back on Coruscant, Xylon sets up a meeting with Senator Gira Starros to claim the Brenge sector. Xylon has Syl lied to Senator Gira Starros about the Nihil's involvement in the Brenge sector. Gira will need proof that the Nihil are not active there in order to give the Grafs that area, and so the expedition is planned to survey the sector. Gira Starros recommends that Vernestra Rwoh and Imri go along as another pair of eyes to scout out the area. Syl's not thrilled by the Jedi inclusion and displays her disappointment. She doesn't like the Jedi because to her, they don't seem to be all that helpful in certain situations. Professor Wok, a Gungan that studies hyperspace, is supposed to accompany them on the mission, but is assassinated. Jordana and Syl reunite. They had been in a relationship back on Tika months prior to Syl's mom being killed. Unfortunately, they split up when Jordana refuses to join Syl and her mother on more adventures aboard the Switchback. Syl has feelings for Jordana, even though she is still conflicted about certain aspects of her. Jordana decides to join them on their expedition to the Brenge sector to fight for a greater cause than being stuck as a deputy on TK. Before they depart, Master Comac and Reith also join the expedition since Xylon was displeased of having just young Jedi on board. Before they reach the Brenge sector, Vernestra realizes that the coordinates plugged in are for another location. Xylon ended up plotting them to get to his family's compound at Everbloom. There they would swap ships to his personally heavy armored ship, the Vengeful Goddess. Everbloom is a vast space station filled with green plants that could also travel through hyperspace. When they arrive, they are ambushed. Syl's mother, Chancey Yarrow, is alive and leading Nihil that takes everybody down with stun bolts. Vern comes too, but her ability to channel the force is lessened due to the effects of the Nile's trademark war gas. The gas was once used by Zagarian slavers. She finds out that the Padawans Reeth and Imri were taken by the Nile, who already left at that point. Syl wakes up aboard the Gravity's Heart and learns that her mother has been a part of the Nile for a few months. She is a specialist when it comes to hyperspace travel and knew about the tech needed to pull ships from hyperspace voluntarily. Lorna D recruited her after she knew about Markion Rwoh's secret, the hyperspace savant Mari Santeca. Vernestra had another hyperspace vision, this time of Mari Santeca dying aboard a mysterious vessel. Vernestra then figures out the icons on a puzzle box from Takei are actually coordinates. Vernestra, Jordana, and Comac travel to the vengeful goddess to the Gravity's Heart via the coordinates. Jordana and Vernestra arrive at the station via armed escape pod as Comac holds off the fighters in orbit. In the hangar, Jordana uses a disc-type weapon to slice through a dozen Nile, but Vernestra is not happy with the violence that Jordana relishes in. Meanwhile, Reeth and Imri awaken to find themselves in a cell with Nan. Nan had been knocked out when Syl woke up on the station. Reeth still has feelings for Nan and wants her to be redeemed. They all get out of the cell by rewiring the door. Vernestra and the Padawans make it to the room where Dr. Uttersong has Mari Santeca. They disarm him and Vern reaches Mari Santeca, whose body has already passed away, however her mind lingers on. Inside the puzzle box rests the memories of Mari Santeca as a young girl. Vernestra is also able to receive one last path that will take Vernestra outside of known space. Mari's soul then passes on. During this time, several Republic ships arrive to bombard the Gravity's Heart, one in which is piloted by Elzar Mann. Chansey and Nan get away in a switchback as everybody else gets off the Gravity's Heart before it's destroyed by the Republic. Xylon Graf and his grandmother, the matriarch of the Graf family, are ruined. They had been aiding the Nile ships to construct the Gravity's Heart in exchange for safe travel for their business through the Outer Rim. The Republic believes that Lorna D is the Eye of the Nile. They now have her tracked thanks to the Grafs giving them the info of the ship which they provided her. Syl and Jordana reconcile their problems and are now on their way to Takodana to start hauling cargo for someone. I think it's safe to assume that this person is Maz Kanata. Vernestra is withholding her knowledge of Mari's final path to Salangios, only Imri knows about it. To close out the story, Nan goes with Chansey to a rendezvous with the Graf matriarch. It is then revealed that they have a number of data cubes with data gathered from the Gravity's Heart. Even though Mari Santeca is dead, they still have enough info to make a better version of the Gravity's Heart. An alliance is formed between Chansey, the Grafs, and Lorna D in opposition to Markion Rwoh and his Nile. Nan accepts the matriarch's proposal to be her new spy. So there you have it. Those are the major events that take place in Out of the Shadows. I have my review for the book on the channel right now, along with many other videos pertaining to the High Republic. Make sure to subscribe to the channel to stay up on all the latest High Republic content. That's going to do it for me, Starrapter. Thank you so much for watching, and may the Force be with you always. Thanks for checking out the video. Please hit that thumbs up symbol. It helps me know that I'm making content that you guys enjoy. And if you enjoyed this video, I also included 2 videos down below you guys should check out. And please consider subscribing to this channel. It helps support me and it notifies you guys of when I get new videos up on the channel. You can also contact me on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram at Starrapter.